Good evening. If you were watching this, you probably watched the WVU men's basketball team get trounced today by Baylor, and yet another loss for the Mountaineers on that front. But I'm going a different direction this evening. Goose and I have agreed not to do a basketball video tonight, and I'm going to go this route because my channel needs some content up. So we'll probably be doing a recap on the basketball video tomorrow. So if you came here for possibly that, just give me a couple hours. We'll get it done in the morning, guys. We're just a little bit out of sync. So apologies for that. I thought, I wanted to do this video a couple times this week because I feel like it needs to be done. And truly, I feel like there's just no way, you know, you might be able to make the case for one of these guys that, if one of these three didn't make it, that to me would still be an injustice. But it just goes to show you the disparity between, on one front, I want to say, it goes to show the difference between how the press views players. Beanie Bishop was voted an All American. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, Beanie Bishop, Doug Nestor, and Lee Koba were all not invited to the NFL Combine, which is shocking to me, to be honest. But not only that, Beanie Bishop was voted an All American by the press. If he's that good, doesn't it stand to reason he should get an NFL Combine invite? Or is there a disconnect between what the press believes and what the actual NFL GMs and guys like that believe? I think there's so much of it that's frustrating to me. And at the end of the day, there's three players who I think deserve an invite, regardless of how they may have played in bowls and things like that. Um, in my opinion, I think it just you can't justify these three players not getting an invite. We've had worse players get invites in the past from West Virginia. And here's an article from Mike Ossie from a couple of days ago, WVSportsNow.com. NFL Combine snub will only add more fuel to the fire for Beanie Bishop. West Virginia will be well represented at the NFL Combine, although not by its consensus All America. While Zach Frazier, a prospect almost assured to be drafted in the early rounds, did not receive an invite, Beanie Bishop did receive an invite. Beanie Bishop was snubbed. Frazier being invited was only a formality, but his fellow offensive lineman Doug Nestor and Beanie Bishop are both being left out of the NFL's premier event leading up to the NFL draft. And even though Nestor failing to earn a chance to impress scouts in Indianapolis stands out, Bishop's omission feels more glaring. The major reason Bishop was not invited could be due to the incredible depth at his position. There are plenty of D-backs most feel are worthy of playing on Sundays in the fall. But regardless of how many quality players could help an NFL team's secondary, Bishop did everything possible to validate his inclusion and gain a chance to prove himself. Something he felt he had to do when arriving in Morgantown for his final college season. Bishop is also on the heels of taking part of the East-West Shrine Bowl at the end of January. He even discussed his mindset and confidence with Representative West Virginia Sports Now, who talked to him in Frisco, Texas. It's usually common for players from the Shrine Bowl and or Senior Bowl to end up in the NFL Combine as well. Unfortunately, not the case for Beanie Bishop. Very frustrating to me. Very, very frustrating. It says there's some people in here, but I don't see anything in the chat. So if you want to have your voice heard, guys, just make your voice heard. Anything you want to say, we'll talk about it. But at the end of the day, this is very frustrating for me, man. You look at a player like Beanie, like Mike Ostie said, that has pretty much done everything he can to validate his inclusion to an event like the NFL Combine, and yet he does not. And 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 there are other players. So I think for me, if it's not too late, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure if participating in the East West Shrine Bowl is. I thought there was still time for players to back out. From what I understand, doesn't Beanie have another year? I just don't understand why. If this is the scenario that's landed in your lap, Beanie Bishop, maybe you should highly consider coming back and playing for what's going to be a really good West Virginia team this year. You absolutely have your job waiting for you if you decided to do that. Now, there could be past time for him, and I haven't checked on this, so this is something this is kind of off the top of my head, so I haven't had a chance to fact check it, but I'm pretty sure he had another eligibility, and I'm pretty sure that it's not too far. He hasn't entered. He's not. I don't know if if he's hired an agent and all that. I don't know how it all works. Maybe some of you down in the comments um, could let me know, or if anything, it's because he doesn't have a year left. But I'm just not. It could be that he doesn't have a year left, but I'm trying to work that out in my head as I go. Either way, um, upset for these guys, man. And the way the offensive line played this year, the way that Doug Esther has been talked about throughout his career, he wasn't spoke about as a borderline NFL player his entire career. Most just assumed he would make it there. I just got to be, I'll be honest, man. It's frustrating to me. And then you can look at Lee Koba. Obviously, size plays a factor in his and Beanie's case. Both are smaller at their position in a day and age where length, is pretty much the be all end all at corner and linebacker these days. But I think Koba is going to. I'll be surprised if he don't land on a roster and make a splash. He's just too good of a football player, at least on special teams. And the same with Beanie. As far as Doug goes, there must be smarter people in the room than me because I realize he's not perfect, and I realize that he played both guard and tackle in college and all that, and there was confusion on which one he was better at. Some people felt guard, some people felt tackle. On the West Virginia team, he was needed at tackle. And I've heard that he didn't do well for himself in some of the practices. So I don't know. I really thought he was going to get a shot at this, and it's uh, truly frustrating for me. Oh, Koo said he looked it up. He's played 5 seasons plus his redshirt year in 2018. Okay. Yeah, because Wikipedia is always right. Just a joke. Um, Usually they've got that pretty much in order on Wikipedia these days. There used to be a time where you didn't know what you were going to get there. Thank you, Coos, for doing that. Um, I could have sworn he was a junior for some reason. I don't. You know how you just get things in your head. That's what happens, though. I keep telling myself I need to get some type of structure to my shows rather than just going off the top of my head all the time. I don't really prepare for these shows like you would see somebody at Sports Center. I don't have paperwork lying around. I don't have bullet points. I know what I'm supposed to get to, and I just structure it in my head and go. That's probably not the best strategy, but it is what I do. Thanks, Tyler Cobb, channel member. He said, "Hi, hey Paul. It's a little frustrating, especially with Beanie, but I'm sure there are some things that NFL scouts look at that the common fan doesn't see." Right. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what we have to trust in these situations, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating for us. And let me ask you, do you really think, truthfully, do you think there are worse players going to the combine this year than these three? Because I guarantee you there are. There's a worse tackle or guard in the combine than Nestor. There's a worse linebacker that got invited than Koba, and there's for sure a worse whether he plays safety in the NFL, corner, wherever you put Benny Bishop. I swear, I don't see how he's not going to find his way onto a field. It blows me away. All these guys, special teams somewhere. I'm not making the case that these guys are going to be starters or huge impact players. They could. They certainly have it in them to do. Uh, just not getting invited is just such a smack in my face, and it makes me want to go to the West Virginia just disrespected all the time argument again, which I hate using because people say we use it too much. But do you think any All American? Find me another All American at any other at a blue blood or Power Five that uh, didn't get an NFL Combine invite. Does this happen a lot? I, I just I just couldn't believe that when I saw it. Truly, it's wild. So oh, there goes the camera. So I was reading up on some things about Lee Koba, and apparently one of the big question marks with him is the size. And I mean, he is a smaller guy, especially in the middle, but it seems to me as that's something that can change just a little bit. So I'm not really sure. I mean, he can add weight to his frame. Now, if he's not tall enough or long enough or doesn't have enough length, maybe that's something. But I don't know. I just think these are things to me that can be changed and the players have control of with the right person. And all these guys are put it on the on. It's all on film. And if you break down Lee Koba on film, he's very instinctive. He's very similar to Long, who's really almost. I mean, he's had really good years with now Miami and uh, Tennessee Titans. So I think they're very similar players in that they're both explosive, short area of explosion type players. They're both smaller guys that use speed and athleticism to get around would be blockers to make plays in the backfield. And that's kind of my West Virginia comparison for him, or maybe like a Tony Fields, but he's not as fast sideline as Fields was. So that would be if I were somebody at West Virginia, those would be the players I would be hooking a guy like Lee Kova up with to try to propel him maybe forward a little bit during this process because I just think there's no way he doesn't make it uh, to uh, an NFL roster somewhere. And I'm sure these guys will get free agent, you know, some deals in free agency. Um, it happens every year, but normally the guys that don't get picked in the combine get the first shot at that. So it's like these guys are really up against it now. Like, do they have to go to the CFL? Like, there are other routes that you can go to make a name for yourself, and maybe some people go right into coaching. I've seen that too. Not saying any of these three guys need to, but I don't know. I thought this was upsetting, and I know it's the off season and not as many people care. And that's a great point, Coos. And I had planned to bring that up and kind of forgot about it. Yes, there is a pro day, but it does very little. I mean, I'm sure some scouts will come, and maybe it helps with scouts. But who makes this decision? Who makes this freaking decision on the combine anyway? You know, I guess it's the NFL GMs. Uh, maybe they send out mock drafts. I don't know. you know, but to think that these three guys, all three, I could, like I said earlier, I could understand one of the three not making it, but all three, just wild to me. You know, and it's so backwards. The player in our team that probably should have been an All American the most wasn't, and the player that was deserving of an All American, no doubt, Beanie Bishop, but not over Zach Frazier. And so he didn't get it, but gets invited. And the reverse is true for others. It's just wild. So thanks, Big Aaron. Appreciate that. My allergies are killing me. All right, guys, let's do the Dutch Miller thing and get out of here. Not a whole lot of interaction on this video. I understand not everybody's as passionate about it as I am, and that's cool. Just wanted to get on here and rant for 15 or 20 minutes about it. So let's see. Let's get the Dutch Miller thing up here. And it's been deleted. Huh. Well, I don't need the logo. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means to get the. Yeah, my allergies are bad, Big Aaron. My allergies are bad, man. Sorry about that, guys. I lost my train of thought for a second. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Ford, GMC, Buick, CB, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. I got tongue tied. Tyler said he's trying to see if any All American corners were not given an invite. And as far as he can see, the answer is no. Yeah, there's going to be no. That's my point. Well, I'm not on any medicine. None. That's that's my big issue, Aaron, is I don't go to the doctor at all. I listen, I'll just keep it real with you guys. I just had 7 referrals put in me for me uh, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. 7. And I put off going to the doctor for like 3 or 4 years now. And there's a bunch of things that are just compounded on me all at once, and it's affecting my channel. It really is, like in severe ways. Coos knows about it. But I've always tried to be transparent with you guys. Uh, it's just who I am as a person. I'm an open book like that. It's kind of how I've gotten to where I'm at in my life now, as far as in my recovery and different things like that you all know about. But yeah, part of being in recovery is taking care of your body, self care, and I have not done that. I've let my weight get way too high. My blood pressure's a mess. Like there's a ton going on. I choose to be grateful for what I do have, though, man. And I try not to focus on all that negative stuff, but it does get to you from time to time. So um, I'm going to go to an allergist and definitely see about that because that's killing me, dude, for real. I also heard looking into an air purifier will help me. So that's something that's on my list as well to do. Oh, this camera, man, it's about to go down on me too, guys. I'm sorry if this content's crap tonight, man. I really am. I jumped on here last minute. Didn't research enough, so I apologize. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really don't have a lot else to talk about. I really want to get on here and just rant a little bit about the 3 guys. To me, it's just an injustice that you can't justify all 3. Like I said all throughout the video, you can tell me one, maybe. Maybe you can say that Nestor had some bad practices at with some of the bowls he went to, or uh, whatever with Beanie, his size with Leakoba, but all 3 is like okay. So the narrative around West Virginia hasn't shifted yet, really, and you see that in some people's rankings. I saw Josh Pate made us ranked us 11th as far as Big 12 programs. Now this was program rankings, and I'm not sure if he just meant like where the brand is right now. But at the end of the day, people still view us as they think we're kind of like Texas. They don't think we're going to actually do it this year. So we'll see. Absolutely silver tundra. So he said West Virginia justice never ends, it seems. Yep. That's how I feel too. Goose, thank you for getting on here and looking that up for me. Appreciate that. Thank everybody for getting on and jumping on late with me. Uh, hope everybody does well. Hate the scenario for them, but just like this entire year, they're going to find a way to prove the experts wrong. Exactly, Tyler. Appreciate that, man. I don't have a lot else to say about it, guys. Just want to get on and say hi. We'll try to get some content out, man. It's just so scarce. We're waiting for spring to get here, and we're waiting for the portal and all that. So hopefully it happens soon. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend and the rest of your weekend, the rest of your night. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. This episode is over. Good night, y'all. I'm out.